When we first had him, it was quite obvious that there was something wrong with him. He didn't move at all for a long time, and we didn't know what was wrong with him. We didn't have a diagnosis. We just knew he had low muscle tone, and he really didn't do anything. And it was frightening. It was horrifying.
When you're a family who has a special needs child, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to turn. You feel incredibly lost and alone and afraid. And to be connected with a resource coordinator at DDRC, to understand that there are hundreds of other people just like you out there who are willing to help you figure out where to go and what to do, brings amazing relief and a sense that the future is going to be okay and that you have hope.
Developmental Disabilities Resource Center has a long history, and we go back to some major changes that occurred for families who have children who have developmental disabilities. In the old days, the only option families had was to place their child in a state institution. There were 3 of them in Colorado, and they served a different region of the state. But it was not something every family wanted. It was a very difficult thing. It broke up families. Some of the conditions were very, very difficult. Families were looking for something else and something closer to home in the community. That's where our name, Community Center, comes from.
The DDRC came into being because of the community. There were parents who had children with intellectual developmental disabilities whose only real option was to send them to what we call now a regional center, which essentially is an institutional setting. Nobody thrives well in an institutional setting. Parents wanted to have something that was more than that.
Can we sit up straight? I'm a parent of a child with severe developmental disabilities. I was a young mother, and actually a single mother at the time. Had no idea when my child was born that I would end up in a situation where he had incredibly challenging needs. When he was first diagnosed, very few children had what he had. As a matter of fact, there were only 18 diagnosed cases, and they told me I'd be lucky to have him beyond 3 years. Well, I will tell you that that doctor, when he asked me where I lived and I said it was Jefferson County, he actually breathed a sigh of relief saying, thank God, because that program and the programs offered by the DDRC are better than anywhere in the state, and he actually was relieved for me that I could get those kinds of services.
Very nice.
Jackson was born with a genetic muscle disease, so it affects his skeletal muscles mostly. So he just doesn't move like other kids. So from the age of about 4 months, he started receiving services with physical therapy, and then at the time it was like feeding and occupational therapy. So we were working from when he was born, he didn't really move at all. And then with a ton of help from therapy, we're getting more muscle movement.
We were lost when we first had him, and it was really nice to have people that are experts in their field that clearly love our child and truly want to help him just get the most out of him that they can. And they know things that we just simply don't. We couldn't have done it without them.
The work we do is tremendously important. It's very valuable for the people we serve and for the community as a whole. We're a large employer in Jefferson County. We're great citizens. I think we've won just about every award for Nonprofit of the Year in Jefferson County or Ethical Organization of the Year or so forth. So we try to be very contributing members to our community.
I'm always amazed at how much volunteer time employees of both the private agencies and the community center board agencies provide to our sons and daughters above and beyond their work time. We're grateful for that.
This group of people that I'm on this board with, they're unbelievable, and what they've done for this state and for people in this state is incredible. And not just those people, but the faculty. The folks who work at DDRC are so committed to making a difference in people's lives, and they don't do this because it's a job. It's an absolute calling for them, and I'm really blessed and honored to even be engaged with these people.
It's me.
We have group homes for individuals, we have host homes, we have various activities for people living in their own homes and with their families, and all of these can use additional funding.
I seriously have nightmares thinking about what life would be like without DDRC and without the access to people who know, what to do, and who really kind of forge the way for acceptance for people with special needs.
From the time we left the hospital, we've been gifted with all of these therapists and services that have been provided, so I don't know what it would be like without it, but I would say I think we'd feel pretty lost without it. So it's definitely a service that brings so much encouragement and support to our lives.
We are a great charity to give to because our administrative expense overhead is less than 10%. There are very few charities that can say that. And most people are looking nowadays for a charity that they can believe in and know that they aren't wasting it on fundraising and such things that they spend a lot more. So we really are attractive to people once they get to know us.
I think it's going to be a great 50 years for DDRC. So much of the prejudice and discrimination is behind us. Citizens are so much more open to working with people with disabilities. And I think the more and the higher expectations that there are for the people we serve, they exceed them all the time. It's been a great privilege to serve these people and to be allowed to work with their family members, and it's been the biggest honor of my life. I'm very grateful I've had a job that's been more than just a paycheck, but actually a mission, something important to do, and been a great honor working here.